Hello and welcome. I'm Evelyn, an AI-generated presenter, and I'll be guiding you through this series called Neville on Bible. This series explores how Neville Goddard interpreted the Bible, not as history, not as theology, but as a map of human consciousness. Now, let's begin. What if I told you that there is another way to read the Bible, not in place of history or faith, but alongside them? What if the Bible could also be approached as a psychological and spiritual manual, a guide to understanding who you really are and how reality works from the inside out? That is the doorway through which Neville Goddard entered the Bible. And that doorway is exactly what this series is about. Before we explore the Bible through Neville's eyes, it's important to understand who Neville was. Neville Goddard was a spiritual teacher and lecturer who lived in the 20th century. He was not a theologian. He was not a clergyman. And he did not belong to any religious institution. Neville was a mystic and experiential teacher concerned not with belief, but with inner realization. What made Neville unique was not just what he taught, but how he arrived at his understanding. He was a prolific writer and wrote a number of books. He delivered several lectures in the 1950s and 1960s before he passed away in 1972. All his written material and lectures are fortunately available, and we will base this and other series on this channel on his material. Neville often spoke about a man who profoundly shaped his thinking, a teacher he simply called Abdullah. According to Neville's own accounts, Abdullah was an Ethiopian Jew, deeply grounded in scripture, yet uncompromisingly mystical in his approach. Abdullah did not teach Neville theology. He did not teach him philosophy. And he did not explain the Bible verse by verse. He taught Neville discipline of consciousness. Above all, he taught him that assumption creates reality, and that imagination, when believed and sustained, is the creative force behind experience. Neville often recalled that Abdullah was relentless, even severe, when it came to forcing him to live from the end, rather than merely talk about faith. What's important to understand is this: Abdullah gave Neville a principle. Neville later returned to the Bible and discovered that this same principle was embedded there all along. From that point on, Neville no longer read the Bible as history. He read it as symbolic instruction, a coded language describing the inner journey of human awareness. From this foundation, Neville arrived at a conclusion that unsettled many. According to Neville, the Bible is not a secular history of ancient civilization. It is the drama of the human soul. Further, every character in the Bible, Adam, Moses, David, Jesus, represents a state of consciousness. The Bible, in his view, is not about what happened once upon a time, but about what unfolds within you as awareness awakens. In Neville's interpretation, Egypt symbolizes inner bondage. The wilderness symbolizes confusion and testing. The promised land symbolizes fulfillment. Jesus symbolizes awakened awareness. Salvation is not granted by an external authority. It occurs when one recognizes their true identity. This is why Neville repeatedly emphasized the verse, "The kingdom of heaven is within you," not as poetry, but as instruction. Many people today feel disconnected from traditional religion, yet still sense that ancient texts carry a deeper truth. Neville's approach offers a way to return to the Bible without fear, guilt, or blind belief. It invites you to read Scripture as a mirror, not a command, as a map of inner awakening, not a rulebook. In this series, we will explore one biblical verse at a time, slowly, carefully, without preaching. Each episode will focus on the verse itself, Neville's metaphysical reading, and what it reveals about inner experience. This is not about agreement. It is about exploration. Neville's interpretations are not presented as doctrine. They are offered as a way of seeing. Neville himself insisted that truth is known not through argument, but through inner confirmation. So listen openly, question freely, and observe what unfolds within you. This series is an invitation, not to accept beliefs, but to shift perception. If you've ever felt that the Bible holds something deeper, if you've sensed that spirituality is about awakening, not obedience, then this journey is for you. In the first episode of the series, we begin with one of the most mysterious declarations ever spoken. I am that I am. If this resonates with you, subscribe and join the series. And if you know someone who feels torn between spirituality and scripture, share this with them. Because once the Bible is seen this way, it is never read the same again. See you in the first episode of the series. Till then, goodbye and have a great day.